Did you know Istanbul is the only city in the world built on two continents, Europe and Asia? For over 2,500 years it has been the capital of empires, and tonight, as twilight falls, we'll walk through its living history. Welcome to Istanbul, Turkey, a city that bridges continents and civilizations. As twilight sets in, the streets take on a magical glow, where history and daily life meet in harmony. Every step through these cobbled lanes connects us to the empires that once ruled here: Byzantine, Ottoman, and modern Turkey. The air is filled with the scent of roasted chestnuts, the chatter of locals, and the anticipation of the evening call to prayer. Tonight, we'll wander through some of the city's most iconic landmarks. We'll pass through places where sultans once ruled, merchants once traded, and travelers from every corner of the world once gathered. Stay with me as Istanbul reveals itself, one step at a time. Before us stands Hagia Sophia, one of the greatest architectural achievements in human history. Built in the 6th century by Emperor Justinian, it was the largest cathedral in the world for nearly 1,000 years. When the Ottomans captured Constantinople in 1453, it was converted into a mosque crowned with elegant minarets that still pierce the skyline. For much of the 20th century, Hagia Sophia was a museum, open to all as a symbol of shared heritage, before becoming a mosque once again in recent years. As you draw closer, you can feel the weight of history in its walls, its mosaics, its echoes of both Christian hymns and Islamic prayers. This building is not just stone and mortar, it is the living story of Istanbul itself. Around the square, locals gather on benches while visitors pause, speechless before its majesty. And as twilight deepens, Hagia Sophia glows like a lantern in the heart of the city. Facing Hagia Sophia stands the Sultan Ahmed Mosque, known to the world as the Blue Mosque. Built in the early 1600s, it was the grand vision of a young sultan determined to leave his mark on the empire. Its 6 minarets were controversial at the time, matching the number of minarets at the Grand Mosque in Mecca. To resolve the dispute, a 7th minaret was added to Mecca, and thus the Blue Mosque became a landmark without equal. Step closer and you'll notice its marble courtyard, one of the largest of any Ottoman mosque, where the faithful gather as the muezzin's voice calls out across the city. Inside, the name Blue Mosque comes from the tens of thousands of blue Iznik tiles that cover its walls, glowing with intricate floral designs. Even from the outside, you can imagine the serenity and splendor within. As the first notes of the evening call to prayer echo through the square, the Blue Mosque reminds us that Istanbul is both a city of grandeur and of devotion. Hidden beneath these very streets lies the Basilica Cistern, a secret world carved deep underground. It once held enough water to supply the great palace of Constantinople and its residents. Hundreds of marble columns rise from the still waters like a silent forest, their reflections shimmering under dim light. Among them are 2 famous Medusa heads, reused from Roman ruins, placed sideways and upside down as though to neutralize their mythical power. Standing above, you'd never guess such a vast and eerie chamber lies just below. The cistern has been featured in films and novels, but for Istanbulites, it has always been a reminder of the city's ingenuity in sustaining life. Though we won't descend today, just knowing it lies beneath our feet adds another layer to this city of hidden worlds. With each passing step, Istanbul reveals not only what is seen, but also what is buried, preserved in time. A few streets away lies the Grand Bazaar, one of the oldest and largest markets in the world. Founded shortly after the Ottoman conquest in the 15th century, it grew into a labyrinth of over 60 streets and more than 4,000 shops. Imagine, centuries ago, merchants here trading silk from Persia, spices from India, and jewels from across the empire. Even today, the bazaar remains alive with energy, its vaulted ceilings echoing with the calls of shopkeepers and the clinking of tea glasses. As the night approaches, most stalls close their doors, but the lamps remain glowing above intricately decorated archways. Walking past, you can almost hear the lingering whispers of countless deals struck and friendships forged. This place is not just a market, it's a city within a city and a heartbeat of Istanbul's commerce and tradition, and even in twilight, it holds its magic. As we arrive at the Galata Bridge, the city opens up to the waters of the Golden Horn. For centuries, this inlet has divided old Constantinople from the districts of Galata and Beyoğlu. On the bridge, fishermen cast their lines as ferries glide beneath, connecting two halves of a city that is itself a bridge between continents. The smell of grilled fish sandwiches, sold from boats nearby, mixes with the salty air. Above us, tram lines hum as people commute from work to home. The Golden Horn has seen sieges, triumphs and festivals, but tonight it is calm, its waters reflecting the lights of Istanbul. And as the call to prayer echoes from mosques on both shores, the bridge becomes a stage where voices, history and life converge. Here, Istanbul feels endless, stretching across waters and centuries alike. Our steps now carry us uphill toward the Galata Tower, a sentinel that has watched over the city since the 14th century. Built by the Genoese, it once marked their walled colony across from Constantinople. At nearly 70 meters tall, it has served as a watchtower, a prison, and even an observatory. From its balcony, one can see the Bosphorus stretching like a ribbon of light, and the domes and minarets of the old city shimmering at night. Centuries ago, a man named Hezarfen Ahmed Çelebi is said to have leapt from this very tower with wooden wings, flying across the Bosphorus to the Asian shore. Whether legend or truth, it captures Istanbul's spirit of daring and imagination. As we pause before its stone walls, lit in golden hues, we sense how this tower is more than stone. It is memory, myth, and endurance. Few landmarks embody Istanbul's resilience as vividly as Galata Tower. We end our walk by the Bosphorus, where Europe and Asia meet across a strait that has shaped history itself. For centuries, emperors and sultans sought to control these waters, for whoever held the Bosphorus held the key to trade between east and west. Tonight the strait is alive with ferries, their lights trailing across the water like fireflies. Families stroll along the promenade, couples sit quietly on benches, and fishermen prepare their lines for the night ahead. Above it all, the city's mosques rise in silhouette, their minarets glowing softly. And then, the sound that unites it all. The evening call to prayer, rising from every quarter, echoing and overlapping until the city itself seems to sing. In this moment, Istanbul belongs to no empire, no ruler. It belongs to its people, past and present. And as the twilight fades into night, the city whispers a promise that its story is never finished.